Alright, the PlayStation Showcase, which took place earlier today. There was a lot of announcements regarding the PlayStation Showcase, and there were quite a few big announcements. I'm going to go down the list and basically discuss each announcement, the major ones anyway, and basically give my thoughts as to, what was announced and whether or not I plan to play any of the games that were showcased. So first we have God of War Ragnarok. This is the sequel to the 2018 God of War. Now, I'm a huge God of War fan when it comes to the older games. God of War 2018 was not a God of War game. That was basically a Last of Us / Dark Souls ripoff. That's basically what that game was. And that's why I was not a fan of God of War 2018. And so, because I wasn't a fan of God of War 2018, I don't really plan on playing God of War Ragnarok. In fact, the only way I would even remotely consider playing this game would be if my subscribers requested it, and even then, it would have to be enough people for me to really take the request serious. That's how much I hated God of War 2018, and yeah, I am not looking forward to this game at all. In fact, I don't plan on playing it at all. So there's that. Next up, we have Spider-Man 2, which is obviously being developed by Insomniac Games, who developed the 2018's Marvel Spider-Man and last year's Spider-Man Miles Morales. And the big reveal here with this trailer was that they're incorporating Venom into the game. Venom's going to be one of the main villains that's going to be in this next entry, which I think everyone expected that. And that's mainly because that Insomniac Games, I believe maybe it was Ted Price or someone else from Insomniac Games, but Venom was one of the characters that was mentioned that they wanted to save for the sequel, which is why Venom didn't appear in any of the DLC episodes from the first game. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. It looks like I'm going to have to buy a PlayStation 5 if I want to play this. So, I mean, I really don't have an issue with that. I've been waiting for Sony to actually give me a reason to be interested in purchasing a PlayStation 5. Of course, with this game, it's not slated for release until 2023. Perhaps I'll wait until then to buy a PlayStation 5. And even then, if the game is not going to be exclusively on PS5, like if they also release it for PS4, which I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does happen, then, fuck buying a PlayStation 5, basically. Although I think this is definitely going to be a console exclusive for the PS5, unlike some of these recent Sony exclusives. Because if you look at Gran Turismo 7, God of War Ragnarok, and Horizon Forbidden West, all three of those games are also going to come to PlayStation 4. Although their development cycles started before the PS5 launch, so it just makes sense. Whereas a game like Spider-Man 2, that game was probably the development for that more likely started sometime maybe last year. Either way, definitely looking forward to that. And I also like the fact that the guy from Candyman is going to be voicing Venom. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to this quite a bit. Then there's Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake, which has been announced exclusively for PlayStation 5. Now, the thing is, I don't know if this game is also going to be released on PC. It's a console exclusive, which means more than likely they're also making it for PC, but I'm going to wait until they actually reveal more information about that. Either way, I'm looking forward to seeing this game in action. I have Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 on Steam. I think I also have the first game on my tablet. But I've never played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, so That's a game that I've always wanted to experience, and I just never got around to it. But clearly, this game is not coming out anytime soon because they didn't show like a release date or a release window. More than likely, it's going to be like a 2023 game or later. So we'll just have to see how that goes. The next announcement is probably the most surprising. Marvel's Wolverine, which is also being developed by Insomniac Games, was announced for the PlayStation 5. And this was a quick teaser, basically, for the trailer. There was no gameplay. They didn't even show Wolverine's face or anything. You know, this is the perfect example of how to cut a teaser trailer. And this is definitely probably my favorite announcement from the PlayStation Showcase easily. Not only is it being developed by Insomniac Games, but, you know, just having another Wolverine game, it's just something that that I can see they can do a lot with as far as the concept goes. If anyone remembers X-Men Origins Wolverine, the game, that's known to be like the quintessential Wolverine experience. But what made that game special was the fact that it was very gory, and it was they really captured the essence of the character, similar to the way that Hugh Jackman's last role as Wolverine did with Logan. You know, X-Men Origins Wolverine was very gritty. It was dark. It was bloody. It had dismemberment in the game. Now, if you look at a game like that, and then you look at Insomniac Games, it's not that they haven't developed, rated M titles before. You know, they certainly have, like with the Resistance series, but they've never done anything that's like gory or something that's just gratuitously violent. But they're going to have to do that if they want to please the core fans of the character. I definitely don't want a babyface Wolverine game that doesn't have like dismemberment and shit. If they're going to do something like this, I want it to be rated M. I want it to be gory. I want blood to be in there. I mean, the character literally rips people apart with, claws. I mean, there's no way to get around that M rating. So hopefully, they're not being held down by, tied down by Marvel. And hopefully Marvel will give Insomniac Games the free will to, do whatever they want with the project. And just let them have free reign to actually, make the game that they want to make. And hopefully they capture the essence of Wolverine. Also, because, Wolverine is an X-Men character, I wonder what other characters from the X-Men are going to appear in here, as well as other Marvel characters outside the X-Men. So that's something else that I'm really looking forward to seeing, how they handle. Because even though the game centers around Wolverine, I now want to see, Insomniac Games, I want to see their versions of some of the other X-Men characters, like Jean Grey, Storm, Professor X, Cyclops, Magneto, Gambit, Rogue, Beast, Iceman. I want to see all those characters. Nightcrawler, Mystique, the list goes on. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Next up, we have Project Eve. This looked very different to me. It appeared to be very unique compared to the other announcements. We do not get hack and slash games that are in this style too much anymore. It's actually pretty rare to get a game like that these days, outside of like the Devil May Cry franchise, for example, or Bayonetta or something like that. This kind of reminded me of Nier Automata a little bit, but it looks a lot better than Nier Automata. It looks more like a true bread and butter hack and slash game. I'm actually looking forward to this quite a bit, and the fact that it's clearly a science fiction game, like it has that sci-fi tone to it, that's something else that I'm interested in. The only thing I wasn't really a big fan of is the main character. I wasn't really too much of a fan of her character design, like what she was wearing and everything. I wasn't really a big fan of that. Just didn't like the color palette for her outfit or anything like that. But I'm glad that it doesn't look like she's really sexualized like that. So it's not going to be like another 2B situation. Again, using Nier Automata as a reference. So, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. I can see myself playing this game. So that was another good announcement from them. I did not take a look at this Wonderlands trailer. I think this is the only thing I did not take a look at. So I'll check that out later. I did see the Forspoken trailer. This game is once again being developed by the same team that developed Final Fantasy 15. This is a Square Enix game. It's being published by Square Enix. You can tell from the graphics that they're reusing assets from the same engine that they developed Final Fantasy 15 with, which is the Luminous engine. It looks very similar in a lot of different areas if you pay attention to the graphics. But while the initial trailers for Forspoken didn't really impress me, I have more of a better idea of what the game is now and what they're actually going for. I must say, I'm actually looking forward to this story that they set up here with this main character, Frey. Yeah, it looks interesting to me. The fact that, it seems like it has a pretty standard, fantasy story, like a more traditional fantasy story. And just like the traversal and the combat system, it looks like, and just the interaction with the environment, like with the traversal elements in the combat system, which it looks like they really took the time to come up with something, a bit different from what we normally see with games like this. I was pretty impressed with this trailer. It definitely looks like something that I want to try. Whereas before I wasn't too sure about Forspoken, and I didn't really have much to say on it. But now, after seeing more of it, it's definitely something that I want to experience. So, definitely looking forward to that. And this game is also coming out on PC, so that's the platform that I'm going to play it on. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that. Moving on, we have Uncharted 4 and Uncharted: The Lost Legacy are getting remastered for the PS5. But more importantly, they're both being released on PC. And this is a fantastic announcement. Now, it was leaked months ago, and I made a video on my channel about this, that the Uncharted games were coming to PC. But I was under the impression that all of the games were coming to PC. Instead, it's just Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy. So, Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, for the time being, are not being released on PC, and I think that's a very strange choice. I'm not exactly sure what's the mentality was behind that, but hopefully Sony corrects that mistake, because it just seems strange just to remaster 4 and Lost Legacy and not the first 3 entries, and release those on PC as well. We'll have to see what they do with that, but at the same time, it's great to see more Sony exclusives being released on PC. So I will definitely rebuy these games on PC. I was a big fan of Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy, so I'm looking forward to playing those games again on PC. The next big announcement was Alan Wake, the remastered. This is being released next month on October the 5th, so it's less than a month away. And this is also being released on PS5. This is the first time that Alan Wake will be available on PlayStation, but it's also coming to PC via the Epic Games Store. They're not releasing it on Steam for some reason. I'm not sure. The first Alan Wake is already available on Steam. I have the original Alan Wake on my Steam already. I just haven't played it. But I've always been intrigued by the concept of this game, which is why I bought it initially. So I'm going to try and squeeze in a quick playthrough of the original game before the remastered version comes out. See how I like it. But yeah, that was a good announcement as well. Of course, we have, typical announcement that Grand Theft Auto 5, as well as Grand Theft Auto Online, is coming to PlayStation 5. It doesn't surprise me at all with the amount of money that this game has made. Grand Theft Auto 5 is easily one of the most successful entertainment releases of all time, not just in the gaming industry, but even outside the gaming industry. So it was bound to come to PS5 at some point. So for anyone who cares, good for you, I guess. Gran Turismo 7 has gotten a release date. It's coming out March the 22nd of next year. I am not a racing game fan at all, but if there's nothing really to play at around the time that this game is slated for release, I might decide to take the plunge and get it. After all, the first Gran Turismo game, which was a PlayStation title, was my very first video game, like ever. The first video game I ever played was the original Gran Turismo, so I do have some nostalgia for the series. Moving on, there's the Ghostwire Tokyo trailer. Now, this is one of the only major games that was at the PlayStation Showcase that did not receive a release date or a release window. Ghostwire Tokyo, we still have no idea when this game is coming out, but if I'm not mistaken, this is also coming to PC. This is a Bethesda game, so Bethesda does not have to honor the agreement for this game to be released on PlayStation. They can pull it if they wanted to. They've chosen to allow the game to see a PlayStation release. Because it was after the announcement of this game that Microsoft acquired ZeniMax and Bethesda, so that's probably the only reason that this game is going to see a PlayStation release. But I believe, like I said, it will also be on PC. Next up, we have Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. This is coming out in late October this year. Now, this game is also coming to PC. It's going to be released on PlayStation and Xbox. It's multi-platform basically. A lot of people have been writing this game off, and many have said that it doesn't really look that good. It looks fine to me. I've had to warm up to some of the some of the characters as far as their redesigns go. If you were to compare this game's version of Rocket Raccoon and Star-Lord, Gamora, and Drax compared to their movie counterparts, their MCU counterparts, I think most people would prefer the MCU versions, obviously, because they're already familiar with that version of these characters. But like I said, I'm more open-minded, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more from this. And unfortunately, a lot of people I think are going to be disappointed because only Star-Lord is playable. It's already been confirmed that the other Guardians members are not playable. Of course, they could fix that with a future update, a patch update. It remains to be seen whether they're actually going to do that or not. I don't think it's going to happen, personally. Either way, the game looks fine enough on its own, even if Star-Lord is the only playable character. For anyone who was looking forward to playing Rocket Raccoon in this game, you have my condolences. And then we had the Deathloop launch trailer. I'm just not interested in this game at all. It looks like Dishonored 2.0. I'm just not really interested in it, and I don't really care for the 70s theme that they have going on in here. Just the gameplay looks very copy and paste from Dishonored, like I said. So definitely don't have any plans on playing this, especially considering that Tales of Arise just came out today. So, and I do plan on purchasing that on Steam tomorrow. Yeah, I don't really care about Deathloop. Vampire the Masquerade, that actually did look good to me. Unfortunately, I believe it's a multiplayer game. Yeah, it says free to play, so it's a multiplayer release. I mean, it is free, so I might try, the game out. I mean, I don't really see the reason not to try it. If it's also on PC, I will not buy a PlayStation 5 to play this. So I don't know if it's coming to PC or not, but if it does, I'll give it a chance. I'll spend some time with it and see how it is. But if it's just coming to PS5, then forget it. And that was pretty much the end of the showcase. Now, as far as like the top 3 announcements, obviously Spider-Man 2 is one. Wolverine, Marvel's Wolverine, and I'd say Parasite Eve would be a third, with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic trailing behind it, like very slightly, ever so slightly. Those were the best announcements. But those were the best announcements. Forspoken, like I said, that also looks very good. That's actually the first Square Enix game that I'm actually looking forward to in a long time. So, and I feel like this is actually going to be a good game. Like, it's not going to be the nonsense that was the Final Fantasy VII Remake or Kingdom Hearts 3 or Final Fantasy 15 or basically their Avengers game. That was another mediocre disappointment. Basically, I feel that it won't be like any of their recent games that they've released over the last several years. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that. The Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy announcements being remastered for PS5 and PC, that was a great announcement. Alan Wake Remastered, that was also a good announcement right there. Some of the other trailers were I was okay with. So overall, this was a good showcase. Like, people have been waiting for Sony to actually, reveal some of the games that people were anticipating, have been anticipating for a long time. So after all this time, Sony finally showed off the newest God of War. They finally announced Spider-Man 2. Of course, we already knew these games were coming. The bigger announcements were Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, although that was already rumored well before this showcase. So it's not like anyone didn't know that was happening. That wasn't really a surprise announcement. The surprise with it was that, Uncharted 1 through 3 is not coming to PC, unfortunately. Nor are the first 3 games being remastered for PS5 either. Like I said, that was a strange choice by Sony. Yeah, those were the best announcements from this showcase. The one I really want to see in action more than anything else up on this list is Marvel's Wolverine. I'm very curious to see what Insomniac Games has in store for this. But I'm also very cautious of what this is as well, because of the reasons that I mentioned earlier. This has to be a rated M game. So, and it has to be bloody. It has to be gory. So I hope they meet everyone's expectations and this game turns out to be the next prime definitive Wolverine experience. Because people are definitely going to be comparing this to the X-Men Origins game that came out all of those years ago. We'll have to see how that goes. But overall, good showcase, Sony. Good job. You didn't fuck it up for a change. And by the way, I did finish Aliens Fireteam Elite, so the retrospective for that will be coming. Unfortunately, I haven't had the time to actually start Psychonauts 2, but I am going to start that very soon. Hopefully, I'll get it finished by this weekend, by the end of this weekend. That's really what's on the agenda, on the to-do list.